And what is up, gang? Thank you for checking out Sledgehammer TV tonight. 24 hours after one of the most emotionally charged and just simply shocking Monday Night Raws we have had in a long time. The WWE tries to right the ship and get back to business as usual with tonight's SmackDown Live, and business as usual is exactly what we got because this show sucked, and we are going to talk about it right here and right now. My name is Nick Nightmare, and you are watching the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show's SmackDown Live review and results right here on Sledgehammer TV. Let's do it.
Sledgehammer Wrestling Show.
All right, wrestling fans, thank you so much for joining me. Tonight's review is brought to you by Audible. Audible is offering a free 30-day trial and one free audiobook download to fans of the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show just for trying out their service. Over 180,000 titles to choose from. All you have to do is go to audibletrial.com/sledgehammertv to sign up right now and get that free book. That's audibletrial.com/sledgehammertv for your free audiobook download and 30-day free trial. Keep that book even if you cancel before the 30 days is over. Make sure you check that out, and thank you guys for joining us once again for our SmackDown Live review. This show was a piece of trash. You want to talk about how we bring the hammer down on a Monday Night Raw on a weekly basis? We do not usually do such a thing on a Tuesday night. Tuesday night's usually a little bit more mellow. We're a little bit more accepting of things, but you see, SmackDown Live has got me all riled up right off the get-go, because they gave us little to no effort. They gave us as much effort on this SmackDown Live as the effort they are putting into the Evolution pay-per-view, which is fucking zero. The Evolution pay-per-view is the most missable pay-per-view in history. It has not been taken seriously, not one bit, and they have not put the least amount of effort in it. And this SmackDown Live has two bleeding examples of that, which we will get to. Most importantly, one of the biggest stories coming into this week's WWE programming before the news of Roman Reigns and his unfortunate leukemia situation was the fact that Fox Sports, the future home of the Blue brand, is pretty much calling bullshit on WWE creative and wants them to move away from the comedy and wants them to be a more sports-oriented program. They want to focus on the wrestling, which makes perfect sense because it's Fox Sports Network. It's not the USA Network that want to create characters and have storylines and funny quips and shit on Monday Night Raw that don't need to be there. This network is focused on athleticism and sports, and it's going to make this show better. And I'm telling you right now that this show cannot get to 2019 fast enough. Fox Sports will be the savior of SmackDown Live, but until then, we are going to continue to get the same old bullshit that the WWE wants to give us on a weekly basis. And now it's going to be affecting the Blue brand even more so than ever before. Maybe they just want to get all their trash out right now while they still are under the USA Network, so that when they get to Fox Sports, they can get rid of all these ridiculous ideas that they want to just burn through. Look at what they're doing to the WWE Championship. You got AJ Styles and Daniel Bryan. They're battling it out for the WWE Championship. Which one of these two guys have you heard talking about how much they want the WWE Championship? This feud has not been about the WWE Championship. WWE Creative has turned this into a Degrassi episode. Oh, you accidentally hit me last week. I accidentally hit you this week. And then you got Daniel Bryan and AJ backstage, and they're bickering like two teenagers. And Daniel Bryan's like, "Oh, is something wrong with your nose? It looks like it's growing. Oh, are you telling a lie? Are we really talking about Pinocchio right now? Is Daniel Bryan that childish in his brain that he couldn't come up with a better analogy to describe what's going on between he and AJ Styles than calling AJ Styles Pinocchio. And then AJ's got to stand, oh, what is that? What are you doing? What is that? What does that mean? What are you doing? Here, what is all this? What are you, an idiot? Of course he's not an idiot. He's AJ Styles. He's phenomenal. You got Daniel Bryan, the king of the indie darlings in the WWE. One of the most beloved superstars ever. Two of the most respected and talented athletes to ever set foot in the squared circle. And you want them to be bickering with each other, calling each other Pinocchio, and then Daniel Bryan does it too sweet, and that's supposed to be cool? Oh, Daniel Bryan, oh, is that how it's done, brother? Too sweet, brother? That's supposed to make me have more heat for this match? That's supposed to get me more interested? Why aren't they talking about how much the championship means to them? Daniel Bryan should be talking about how he lost that championship, unfortunately, due to unforeseen circumstances, and ever since he's come back, he's never really been given a true chance at getting it back. Much like we could say for Finn Balor on the Monday Night Raw brand and the Universal Championship. It's almost the same situation going on over here. And then you got AJ Styles, who should be talking himself up as the phenomenal one. I have been the champ. I have been here. I have been doing this. This is the house that AJ Styles built, and I have been the champ, and you are not going to take it from me because this title belt means everything. Look what I just had to go through with Samoa Joe. I think I'm going to take it easy on you. I don't care that we're friends. It's all about this belt. That's what this feud's supposed to be about. But instead we're talking about fucking Disney movies. Pinocchio! Get the hell out of here. Don't tell me, oh, well, they're trying to be creative, Mr. Nightmare. No, they're overly doing it on a feud that needs nothing. Take whatever you want to try creatively and apply it to the women's division, because that's what you need. Anything involving Evolution on this night just proved how much they have just come so short of landing where they needed to land with this Evolution pay-per-view. It is so far from anything that got started all those years ago in NXT. Don't you dare sit here on my channel and watch my show and tell me that this whole thing started because of the Bellas and a tweet. The reason why the fans wanted you to give the Divas a chance is because of what we were seeing in NXT, what we were seeing from Paige, what we were seeing from Emma, what we were seeing from Charlotte and Becky and Bayley and Sasha. Consistently in NXT, that's what we wanted moved up to the main roster. And you brought them up here and you made them pseudo-divas, quasi-divas. Look pretty, get your body in shape, do your hair, be colorful, be loud, be sexy. Don't matter if you can wrestle. We don't want to see you wrestle. We're going to put you in 2-minute matchups. We're going to put you in a segment. We're going to book, hey, Asuka, here we go. We're going to take you. We're going to put you with Naomi again. We're going to book you in a tag team match tonight with Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville, the queen of the spaz move. Right? We're going to put you in this match. Oh, but by the way, the match is never going to get started. It's just going to become a big bullshit battle royal nonsense segment. Because we don't care about what you guys are going to do tonight, really. We didn't even think about what you guys really should be doing at Evolution. We're not going to have Asuka versus Ember Moon. We're not going to have matches like the Iconics versus the Bellas, which is something I would have been much more interested in seeing. We're not going to see Lita versus Ruby Riott. We're not going to see Trish Stratus versus Sasha Banks, which should be the match that could be actually headlining this whole entire show. We're not going to see anything interesting. We're going to see this ridiculous nonsense they wanted to shove down our throat all night. And they don't even have the decency to mention the Mae Young Classic Finals. They want to run down the card and they're forgetting about that? What, are they just leaving it like it doesn't exist until tomorrow night? Absolutely ridiculous. This whole thing, this whole show tonight was nothing but rematches. And then they want to have the balls to give us preview matches. There are 4 people from SmackDown Live, 4 wrestlers from SmackDown Live that are going to be in this World Cup. And instead of giving each one of them a tune-up match versus somebody else, they put them all against each other. One of the 2 matches was actually very good, but what was the reasoning behind us having to see Jeff Hardy versus Randy Orton again? I thought that feud was put to rest in the Hell in a Cell. But now here we are again. Also, we could be crowned the best in the world? Ridiculous. Give me a goddamn break. And then on top of all that and all the terrible Evolution build, them still not telling us what's truly going on with the Crown Jewel pay-per-view. They want to keep hyping the shit out of it, but they still don't know where the fuck it's going to be. And if they're still going to do it in Saudi Arabia, it's going to be nothing but a problem for the WWE. I believe that they are moving it to somewhere in the States, but I cannot confirm any of that as of right now. And you want to take all of that, that was tonight's show, and then you want to leave off the United States Champion Shinsuke Nakamura. Nowhere to be found. Sanity has been missing in action for months. We had no Andrade Cien Almas. We had no R-Truth tonight. R-Truth has been one of the biggest things going on SmackDown Live. I've been a big proponent of the Truth, and I was accepting of a little bit of a run, even if it was starting off in a comedy segment. I would much rather see Truth TV than a Miz TV, even though Miz TV tonight was pretty interesting and entertaining, as it tends to be. Truth TV was new, it was different. I didn't give a shit about the dance breaks. It made it fun. It made it interesting, and it fit R-Truth's character. Carmella didn't fit being with him, but I was able to deal with it because it was just a little bit of fun, and it wasn't overly done with pancakes and horns and all kinds of nonsense, which is what we've become accustomed to on SmackDown Live. So I was alright with that, but where was R-Truth tonight? I know we can't have Truth TV anymore because of that matchup, but that didn't stop them last week from having Truth TV, so Vince McMahon could come out and shake his fucking ass and celebrate for the 1000th celebration of SmackDown Live, which was the most underwhelming celebration I have ever taken part in. There was nothing good about tonight's show. What did you like? Did you like how the show started off with the New Day? Did you enjoy that? Did you enjoy the New Day calling out the Bar? Right? Did you enjoy them ripping off everything that I said on my show last week, telling you how they lowered the bar by adding the Big Show to everything? Did you enjoy any of that? Because it doesn't mean shit. Sure, it might be interesting to you. Oh no, Mr. Nightmare, you don't like anything. You're so negative. This is new. How is it fucking new? We just seen it going on the other show for the last 2.5 months. I may be okay with all of this, even with it being the Big Show, if we hadn't had to see Braun Strowman with Ziggler and McIntyre for the last few months doing the exact same thing against the Shield. Only it's and the Bar versus the New Day. It's the same thing. The same exact thing. It's like, oh, well, we're not going to do this over there. Let's just take everything we were going to do since we can't do it anymore and apply it over here. Carbon copy of all the bullshit we have been seeing on Monday Night Raw. And then you got the Big Show standing tall over this thing, absolutely annihilating Kofi Kingston in this bullshit matchup that nobody really gave a shit about because it involves the Big Show. I don't care that he's a heel for the 1000th time in his career. It doesn't appeal to me because it's just copy-paste from one of the most overused segments and just uninteresting storylines that they have had on Monday Night Raw. So now we're just going to do it here instead. Great! Let's get excited. Let's get happy about tonight's opening to SmackDown Live. Bullshit. The whole matchup ended between the Big Show and Kofi Kingston, right? They had a singles matchup for no reason because Kofi's calling them out. Oh, we want revenge for last week. Who gives a shit? And then the match would end up in a no contest. Both teams getting thrown out because everybody gets involved and it's a big old schmaz at the end and it's the same old shit over and over again. Then they wanted to highlight the whole Roman Reigns situation from last night, which we talked about. It's very unfortunate. I don't want to go through any of that again. I feel like the whole situation took me off my game. I enjoyed Raw completely less than usual just because I didn't feel focused. And I feel like that came across on the show last night. And of course, that show would be doing one of the most historic nights in Sledgehammer TV history, getting one of the biggest responses I've ever had ever. And I feel like it's not a true representation of me because it just took me out of my element. Because it was so shocking. And for everything that we say negative about the character of Roman Reigns, that has nothing to do with the man behind the Shield. And it's just terrible to have to talk about and go through. Each and every one of us has dealt with cancer in one way, shape, or form in our life. And you all know that it sucks. And we're all looking forward to Roman making that announcement and coming back so that I could bring the hammer down on him once again. I'm not going to go easy on him when he comes back, because when he comes back, he's going to have kicked Cancer's ass for a second time, and he can take a little hammering from this guy, because all I bring to you guys is the truth. But it was sad to have to see it once again. I knew they were going to show it to you guys, and it wasn't really a big deal. It's something that we have to live with, and we have to move away from it until the man comes back. We had the tag team rematch from last week. They had nothing better to do with AJ Styles and Daniel Bryan than to do a rematch against the Usos, in which we have a repeat performance of what we seen last week. Second verse, same as the first, only AJ Styles makes the miscommunication instead of Daniel Bryan. And then we have the whole Pinocchio bullshit in the back. And what does that mean? What do you mean? What are you doing all this? What does that mean, Daniel Bryan? Get the hell out of here. Absolute garbage. On the positive side, it's great to see the New Day getting some wins, and you want to think to yourself, being a knowledgeable wrestling fan like I know you are, that the New Day beating a team the caliber of an AJ Styles and a Daniel Bryan should automatically place them in contention for a SmackDown Live Tag Team Championship opportunity at some point. There's no other tag teams in the division. You're not using sanity. Nobody else matters. So doesn't this give them some sort of credibility? Shouldn't this automatically vault them on top? They're beating a mega team. They're like the 2018 version of the Mega Powers. Daniel Bryan and AJ Styles. Beaten 2 weeks in a row. Clean. By the Usos. Not that they don't deserve it. The Usos are fantastic. They're one of the best tag teams that WWE has ever had. They definitely don't give them the respect they deserve. But you gotta think that these last 2 weeks definitely raised their stock. And I would like to see that happen sooner rather than later. But I doubt that's going to be the case. We got to see Charlotte at the Performance Center. She attacked by Becky Lynch while she was given this long, drawn-out, overly scripted, barely acted speech to all of the women in the world that can wrestle better than Charlotte Flair, that are in the ring with, that are outside the ring with her at the Performance Center. You got Lacey Lane standing out there. You got Mia Yim out there. Casey Catanzaro, Rhea Ripley. Everybody that you could imagine from the Mae Young Classic was standing out there, and they could wrestle circles around Charlotte Flair, and they got to stand there and listen to her talk this bullshit speech that they scripted for her, all to have Becky Lynch come in and deliver her end of the bullshit fucking scripted speech and have this brawl in the Performance Center, which I already seen on social media earlier in this day, so it wasn't even surprising for me to see it. When I seen it initially, I was just like, oh my god, look how desperate they are to try to tell their narrative and just not go with the generic, organic feelings of the crowd. They're just going to continue to go down this road. We're just going to have to accept it. I don't give a shit. Becky's a heel, Becky's a face. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. What they should just be doing is checking the pulse of the audience. It's worldwide at this point. They don't have to turn her definitively babyface, definitively heel, but they have to start or stop treating Charlotte like the babyface. I think if you just leave Becky Lynch alone as is, and then you let Charlotte Flair be Charlotte Flair, this whole thing would just feel so much better. But instead, we're getting the same generic WWE written bullshit. We see them with this brawl at the Performance Center, and then Charlotte comes on to the screen and wants to tell everybody how this is unacceptable, and Becky blah blah blah. Do you care? Do you care? And it's not the first ever WWE Last Woman Standing match. I wish they would really acknowledge the greatness that has already happened in NXT. Nikki Cross was standing there outside with Charlotte Flair in the Performance Center, and she's got to hear this shit knowing that she could outperform all of these ladies. Awful. Absolutely awful. I certainly did not care. Moving on. Aiden English versus Rusev. It took Aiden English longer to sing his way to the ring than it took Rusev to slap the accolade on him and move away from this whole thing. What are they going to do with this now? They just killed it. Rusev submits Aiden English in the accolade. Where does this story go from here? Aiden English during the little bit of time he had during the match, screaming at Lana outside the ring. Lana's throwing shoes around. Who cares? Aiden English is telling Lana this is all her fault. I thought we moved past this already. One hot night with Aiden. Nobody wants that. I don't even think Aiden English wants a hot night with himself. The milky bastard. Just absolutely get off my screen type shit. I just don't care. And they killed it so quickly. Where do they go with Rusev now? They got a battle royal for him to be in down the line somewhere? Or are they going to revisit this Aiden English thing again next week? Why do you care? Why would he want to fight Aiden English again? Rusev's got his vengeance. Who cares? Over way too soon. Before it even began, this whole thing was over. And it was worthless. Miz TV with Rey Mysterio was very interesting. The Miz doing what the Miz does. He was absolute fire on the mic, saying that the fans nowadays are not interested in the plucky little underdog from the 90s. What they want is big-time stars, Hollywood A-listers like the Miz, larger-than-life superstars like the Miz, and he's not going to step aside for anybody, not even the likes of a Rey Mysterio. He already knows why Rey is here. He's going to come back and prove he's the best little big man and blah, blah, blah. The Miz just absolutely killed it as usual. This would incite Rey Mysterio as normally it would, and Rey Mysterio would end up challenging the Miz to a match. They had a little bit of a scuffle in the middle of the ring. Rey Mysterio found himself with the advantage before all was said and done. The Miz draped across the second rope, set up for a 619, but would escape the ring before Rey Mysterio was able to nail it. And then during the break, Paige, what are you doing? I'm coming out during a break, and I'm not going to be seen during the rest of the show. But she made the match official, and when we came back from commercial break, we had Rey Mysterio versus The Miz, which was a very good match. I just don't understand why we're getting it. This is one of the two possible scenarios we can be seeing at this Crown Jewel World Cup. And then we could be seen in the semifinals as well. They're giving away the World Cup for free tonight. Instead of doing what I said at the beginning of this show, which is giving everybody an individual person to have a tune-up match against, why couldn't we have seen Rey Mysterio versus an Andrade Cien Almas? Why not? I'm waiting for that one. You could have had that happen tonight. You're not doing anything with Andrade anyway. You let him get beat by everybody. You might as well let him get beat by a legend from his own country and doing this whole thing that he's probably dying to do himself. I'm sure he looks up to Rey Mysterio and wants to get in the ring with him. Half that roster does. But instead on this night you put him in there with The Miz, which is fine because the match was fine. But it definitely takes away from any sort of intrigue or any sort of wanting to see what's happening at the Crown Jewel World Cup thing, which should actually be called the Retirees Cup, because everybody should not even be wrestling anymore at this point. And I just don't care. I really don't. I have no reason to care. And you just gave it to me. You just gave it away for free tonight. Why would we want to believe now that Jeff Hardy or The Miz is even going to have a chance? They just lost, both of them, clean. It doesn't make sense. It's really, really racking my brain. It makes it hard to talk about. I don't understand their frame of mind and why they would do something like that. It's just sheer laziness and not knowing what to do with what you have. Just like with the entirety of the women's division, as we came to this tag team matchup, which I already touched upon. We had Naomi and Asuka come to the ring. We had Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville come to the ring. Then next thing you know, we got the Iconics coming out. And I thought they were going to have a tag team triple threat match, which I was like, all right, well, maybe at least that's different. But then you got Lana coming out, and then Carmella comes out, and then this one, and then that one, and the whole thing just becomes a bullshit segment to promote this Battle Royal, just showing everybody why Evolution is trash, and why you don't need to watch it. Because they didn't even give you anything worth watching. Just like tonight's SmackDown Live. This is what you have to look forward to, a Battle Royal that shits on the Royal Rumble for the women. The first ever Women's Royal Rumble. gets the chance to face the champion, earns that right. You're taking that stipulation and just adding it to this Evolution pay-per-view. You are pretty much doing a Royal Rumble without the countdown and giving the winner the same reward. You think that's going to make it prestigious? It all depends on who wins this thing. And out of everybody there, if Asuka's not the one that wins this thing again so that they can hit the reset button and start over with this girl and get her back to the top, or at least make her viable again, then it's a waste. Unless maybe they want to shock the world and give it to an Ember Moon, or a Kairi Sane, or Shayna Baszler, or somebody shocking. I don't want to see this thing go to a fucking Carmella or Alana or any of them that are currently doing it right now. Let's do something new and different and shocking. Maybe you could make me feel like an evolution is happening then, but even then I doubt it very, very much. There was nothing evolutionary about this pay-per-view at all. It is a regression. Just like this episode of SmackDown Live was a regression back to the days when SmackDown was absolute trash. SmackDown hasn't been this bad in a long time. Shane McMahon's got to come out tonight, and here's another example of why it was so bad. Shane McMahon came out to do absolutely fucking nothing. I assumed since his placement was prior to the Randy Orton, Jeff Hardy situation that was going to main event tonight's show, like it deserved a main event slot, I thought Shane McMahon was going to get involved and possibly be Randy Orton's new target. That was not the case, because Shane McMahon just come out to promote the two most bullshit things going on in the WWE today, the Crown Jewel World Cup and WWE Evolution. He effectively said nothing. Absolutely nothing. And then he took my catchphrase and he said, let's do it. And then we had the match between Randy Orton and Jeff Hardy, which we didn't see anything we haven't seen before. Randy wanted to have his way with the earlobe. He's got a thing for finger and ears. Right? We did all this already. I was really funny when I did it the first time. I don't want to repeat myself and do the same gag. But they give me no choice. They don't give me any new material to work with. They're giving me the same shit. We saw the ear manipulation and the RKO out of nowhere to finish this match, catching Jeff Hardy off guard for Randy Orton to pin Jeff Hardy clean going into this World Cup tournament. So why do you care? Why do you think Jeff Hardy's going to win if he can't get past Randy Orton? There's no interest. There's no intrigue. Just the same old shit over and over again, which is not what I expect from SmackDown Live. I expect it to be this much better. We've been giving them too much credit. That's what it is. Every week we go, well, yeah, they're better than Raw. Well, at least it's been better than Raw. And what have I been telling you guys? That's not good enough anymore. Because just being better than Raw leaves the door open for you guys to shit the bed even on the same level as Monday Night Raw. Because while the show can't be worse than Raw, it's physically impossible. Raw is just a show on a whole bottom level to its own. But this show definitely came the closest it's ever come. I could care less. SmackDown episode number 1001 kicks off the next 1000 to come in a very, very bad, very underwhelming and lackluster way. And that is going to wrap it up on our review for SmackDown Live. Thank you guys, as always, for being here. Don't forget to smash that like button if you enjoyed yourself on today's show. Keep your eye open for the hammer shots, the little highlight package shows that I've been putting up on the Instagram account at Nick_Nightmare and on the Twitter feed at Nick Nightmare, which you can see down there. Don't forget to check us out on the Facebook page, facebook.com/The Sledgehammer Wrestling Show. That's all one word. If you've been listening to us on the audio platforms, iTunes, Podbean, Stitcher Radio, and Spotify, make sure you come on over to the YouTube channel, Sledgehammer TV, and watch this thing and watch me do my thing live. You'll have a whole lot of fun watching it, just like all of my sledgeheads that already know that this place on YouTube is the place to be for the most truthful and awesome hammerings of the WWE that you will ever get. I know you guys have a good time because those like numbers are rising, and I want to thank each and every one of my new subscribers that have come along this weekend. We've had a nice big influx, but we are still just shy of the goal. We are getting to 1,000 subscribers, whether you like it or not, and it starts with an awesome wrestling fan just like you. If you are still here at the half-an-hour mark and you enjoyed this show, or maybe you enjoyed yesterday's show where we talked about everything that happened on Raw, maybe you enjoyed my NXT UK reaction show or the Mae Young Classic coverage, which nobody does better than Nick Nightmare right here on the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show, then you need to subscribe to this channel right now to make sure that you stay in the know. Help us get to 1,000 subscribers by joining the hundreds of fans that know beyond a shadow of a doubt that the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show is the most fun and entertaining show you will come across on YouTube when it comes to your professional wrestling needs. And we have the greatest fan base of wrestling fans, the most knowledgeable, the most fun, the most just educated and respectful community of wrestling fans you will see on anybody's YouTube channel. I love each and every one of you guys. I look forward to seeing your comments down there so I can answer them. You guys know I talked back first couple of minutes after you see this show. I could be sitting there watching it along with you. All you got to do is fire me a comment and I will fire it back. But most importantly, make sure that you like this video. Share this video with all of your wrestling buddies all over the wrestling world. Make sure that they become infected with the disease that is the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show, especially if they did not enjoy tonight's SmackDown Live, much like we did. You know where to point them, and that is right here. And then, as always, all of you, hit that motherfucking subscribe button right now and join the Sledgehammer Club today. Also, don't forget to check out that Audible trial. It's worth your time. It doesn't cost you a single dime. All you got to do is sign up using our exclusive link, audibletrial.com/sledgehammertv. You get 30 days free. You get a free audiobook that you get to keep whether you decide to cancel your service or not. It's yours forever. So make your selection carefully and pick from the thousands of wrestling titles that are there. It's worth your time, and it will definitely be the best way you could support this channel as of right now. We're working on a bunch of bigger, better things, and we will keep you abreast on everything as we aim to become the best podcast in all of YouTube. And once again, it starts with you guys. My name is Nick Nightmare. This is the team, Thor the Sledgehammer, the official sledgehammer of the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show and the Wrestling God of Thunder, and his tag team partner, the World Heavyweight Champion of all the microphones in all the world, Mr. Blue, the Snowball Microphone. We are so pleased to be with you, and thank you, as always, for being here with us each and every day. Don't forget to be here tomorrow for the Mae Young Classic and NXT UK live review and reaction show as the Mae Young Classic comes winding down in the semifinals. It will be here, as I hope you will be. That is going to do it, and we are out of here, and we will see you tomorrow night right here on the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show. Dig it!